Hi guys, welcome to Kiki TV. My name is Keisha Noel Hare and I am a holistic psychotherapist, meaning mind, body, heart, spirit are all connected, and I believe in natural medicine wholeheartedly, and I'm also a trauma therapist, and I want to talk to you today about racial trauma. And I want to talk to you today about racial trauma because you can heal it. And if you're a person of color, you most likely have some, because racial trauma you can either have by experiencing racial bias and discrimination yourself, and who hasn't, or witnessing racial discrimination and bias, and we're literally seeing Black people being murdered both in the world and then on social media and in the news nonstop. Just when we think that we're recovered, maybe from one horrific thing happening, another horrific thing happens. And so I want to tell you the symptoms of trauma and what you can do to heal yourself, because you deserve to be free and healthy. So, racial trauma, the symptoms are depression and anxiety, nightmares, trouble sleeping, breakthrough thoughts, breakthrough kind of like memories that you can't control. So all of a sudden, bam, you're witnessing like something horrible that you experienced or that you saw someone else experience. And those things don't just seem like memories. Those breakthrough thoughts seem like you're re-experiencing the traumatic event. That makes trauma very difficult, because you can be going through your day very fine, and then all of a sudden, boom, you have a traumatic image or memory or thought or vision happen in your brain, and it can mess you up all day or for weeks. We have weathering. So weathering is a racial trauma symptom that is super interesting that I researched for making this video. Black women who are 45 to 55 are 7.5 years older than white women at the same age, because of all of the racial bias and discrimination and bullying and straight aggression and microaggression and worrying about our children. And so weathering happens because we as humans are not meant to be like being traumatized over and over and over again. And it literally affects our mental health and our physical health. So mental health is the other thing. Racial trauma affects mental health, obviously, in a super negative way. And one of the problems with that is a treatment is sometimes could be pharmaceuticals, like an antidepressant or an anti-anxiety, but oftentimes people of color don't trust the system because the system isn't trustworthy and they've hurt us before. For example, the Tuskegee experiment. And so we don't trust the system. So then when the system offers us pharmaceutical medicine that could really help, like an anti-anxiety or antidepressant, we don't trust that it's in our best interest to take their medicine. So we stay mentally ill. You see, it's like there's it's a prison. Same thing with the trauma response of flight or fight, right? So when you have a racial trauma, oftentimes, and it's the same thing with PTSD, we avoid the thing that triggered us. So God forbid you're being pulled over by a policeman, and the policeman is the trauma because you saw George Floyd, being murdered, then you're going to run when you get pulled over, which could possibly lead to your injury or death. But it's not your fault that you're running, because you are in a trauma response that is involuntary. Same thing with fight, fight and flight is a trauma response that could really have Black people getting hurt, but they can't help it because they're trying to avoid the trigger. So it's really ironic that our trauma responses could lead to us being more hurt and sad. And so we need this education. we need this education to know, okay, I'm freaking out because a cop is pulling me over, and a bad cop killed George Floyd, or, you know, whoever we're talking about. But I'm having a trauma response. That could be a good cop. Let me remain calm. And, you know, education is just very helpful. I know people. I'm a holistic psychotherapist. And so when people need medicine, I send them to a psychiatrist, and then the psychiatrist gives them medicine. And then together, the three of us are a team for the mental health of the person taking the pharmaceuticals. And I've seen medicine really work. You know, there's also, let's talk about ways to cure, heal, or help to make better trauma. Because it would be difficult to cure racial trauma when it's ongoing. Like, the reason why I'm even making this video is because last week, a white supremacist went to Buffalo, and he drove 3 hours to do a mass shooting in a grocery store. 10 Black people died, 3 Black people injured, because he hates us. And so when you're living in a world where you can't go to a grocery store, you can't send your kids to school, you can't be sleeping in your bed like Breonna Taylor, like, it's hard to feel safe. So healing is ongoing, because you can be resilient and you could feel like, okay, I'm recovering from this last thing, but then bam, something else happens. So, important ways to heal racial trauma. Support groups. It's very important for people to hear other people's stories so that we feel like we're not alone and we can support each other and love each other. And hearing other people's experience and relating our experience is helpful. Talk therapy is super important. Research shows that when you are talking about your trauma, you heal mentally, emotionally, and physically faster than, way faster than if you don't. As a matter of fact, if you don't talk about your trauma, it's really bad for you and your mental health is going to decline rapidly. Fighting for racial justice. So fighting for racial justice is super important, because you're not only showing up for yourself and trying to be a part of the solution, but you're showing up for other people. There's like a charitable sort of nature in fighting for racial justice. And so you can make sweeping changes through this kind of work. It empowers you, it empowers your neighborhood, it empowers the country, and it empowers the world, because you know, we're all connected. So fighting for racial justice is super important and helpful to healing. And let's see, natural medicine and like self-care. So people who get sunshine create vitamin D that boosts their immune system, and it gives them serotonin, which is really good for their happy, healthy, energetic, vibrant, hopeful hormones. So especially, you know, even if you are taking pharmaceuticals, definitely if you're not taking a pharmaceutical antidepressant or anti-anxiety, the sunshine can help you. Exercise can help you. Eating fruits and vegetables and good whole food and not fast food and sugar and fat and gluten, you know, like eating really good foods for you can help your mental health. And people need to know this. You know, meditation changed my life. And you can go on my YouTube channel and see more about meditation. So there's ways that you can heal, but what you can't do is not work on healing, because it will make your life considerably less enjoyable. You will be suffering and you will be in mental and emotional pain, and mental and emotional pain land in the body as physical. So then you'll be in physical pain. And you deserve to heal. It's not your fault that we live in this world where racial bias and racial discrimination and horrible things happening, it exists, right? But it is our responsibility to heal ourselves. And then when we heal ourselves, our children heal and their children heal. And now we have, you know, lineage healing. And it's so important. And we really deserve that. And we have to give it to ourselves. We have to love ourselves better. And then we heal ourselves, and then we help to heal the world. So thank you so much. I hope this was helpful. I appreciate you liking and subscribing, and I will see you next time. And remember, you can heal.